Hello and welcome back to SWAN Pricing Show. Today we're talking about, edges. I don't know, you probably heard people refer to the advantage that they have as the edge. And I've recently realized just how good a metaphor this is.
Mhm.
Because, physics, right? An edge multiplies force by concentrating on a carefully selected area. And that's exactly what expertise does for a project. Um, it multiplies force meaning that you need way less effort to do something, not just you but everybody else in the team, right? Which then renders some things which would be completely unprofitable or impossible possible because now you do have enough energy to do it. And we want to talk about this because this is one of the fundamental differences between what we on this show call the SWAN, pricing or SWAN services and the usual commoditized duck-like uh, services. Because in the commoditized service world, in the duck world, um, mostly what you get paid for when you work is effort. And the more effort something takes, the more it costs. And this is simply the main driver of the whole logic and, the song. It costs as much because it takes me fucking hours. Uh,
Mhm.
and yeah, you can absolutely look at it that way, and you would not be wrong in the duck world. But in the Swan world, when it's not about commoditized services, when it's about expertise based services, it's about the edge. So um, let's say that if uh, you have a organization that chops wood,
Mhm.
yes, people should get paid depending on how much wood they chop. Sure. But also, it makes complete sense to pay somebody to sharpen the axes expertly. Not everybody can do that. Everybody can swing an axe. Not everybody can sharpen them in an effective way. And then, yes, it makes complete sense to pay that person because they made it easier for everybody else to apply effort. And now their strength is applied more efficiently. It's a force multiplier. And now, using the same number of calories, they can chop a lot more wood.
Yeah.
Even though the axe sharpener didn't chop a single piece of wood, they are still massively productive. And
Yeah.
even if it only took them a couple of hours, they basically halved the energy needed to chop wood for everybody else.
Yeah.
So yes, it makes complete sense to pay them for these 2 hours like they did a huge amount of effort because they saved a huge amount of effort for everybody else, right? So
Exactly.
you had a good example for like building web pages, right?
Yeah, I have two examples. One example, as you mentioned, is it's a simple one. Building e-commerce solution, meaning the web shops. So yeah, I need a web shop. You need a web shop. What web shop really is? What level of automation? What level of integration? So those are the differences, especially if you're leaning on the expert who is having the previous experience with the know-how, the optimal processes, procedures, and overall tech stack. You're saving time, you're saving money, and you can bring those functionalities in motion into production earlier, sooner, simply following the priority ladder. We even mentioned in the pre-show kind of three components when we are talking about the edge. You have predictability,
Hmm.
you have productivity, as you mentioned, which means profitability, both for the expert and the served business who receives the expertise or expertise service from the expert or expertise service provider. So it's pretty much straightforward. I also have the second very cool case. Not so long ago, my friend from United States, they are manufacturing business, utensil production, and similar. They had very significant struggle in expanding in European Union, simply due to the compliance. So, what was the edge? Knowing a person who can help and support them with compliance, because the other way around, it will be overly costly, time-wise, crazy. They will be wasting maybe 7, 8, maybe even 12 months to do stuff on their own while they could use that the same time for expanding the business. So that is utilizing the edge. You're leaning on somebody's expert knowledge, experience, expertise to speed up stuff, to do something in a more productive way, predictable way, and profitable. That's it.
Also, the versioning,
Mm.
right? That's something
Bravo, bravo.
that you can do. I'll take a different example. I'll take an architect, right? Can you build a house without an architect? Yes. Shouldn't you? No. No, it's going to be much harder. It's going to be much less stable. It's going to be way less efficient. And you can't really predict the problem. So you're going to have to solve them while you're building, while stuff is, waiting in the rain or something. Um, and there's no way you can version except by building and then tearing it down, and it's just the most inefficient way possible. So it's completely viable to build it using only heroic amounts of effort. But that reminds me of that comic where the cavemen are pushing a cart on square wheels, and somebody
Yeah.
is showing them a round wheel, and they're like, "We don't have time. We're applying effort to this. Quit bothering us." Right? We really have to uh, you know put our backs into it. It's not about that.
Yeah.
So this is about applying the edge and not just blindly applying effort. Effort is absolutely worthwhile. It's just not the only thing that is worthwhile,
Yeah.
right? And what bothers me, what grinds my gears, is that in minds of our civilization in general, is that effort is the only thing that you get paid for
Yeah.
while working, right? It's the only thing that can be easily measured, and therefore it's the thing that you need to be paid for. And if you applied only a little effort, then I shouldn't be paying you this much. It only took you 2 hours to sharpen the axes. Well, that doesn't matter, and it really doesn't matter, right? I recently wrote something on LinkedIn, um, where I said that the usual suspect for effort measuring is hourly billing, and that's like so that is consistent. That's easy to measure. It's objective. Yes, that's all true. But that would also be true of measuring the value of a painting by counting brushstrokes,
Yeah.
right? Easily measured, especially in the age of AI. Um, it you know it the that's scalable. That's easy to understand for everybody. Does that mean that it's a good measure? No, it's just easy to measure. It's a really, really, really bad measure, and you would destroy the market, and get people to produce slop, and with a very, very tiny brush, in order to get paid more.
Yeah.
It's Dostoevsky all over again. Although,
Exactly. Yeah. I just wanted to mention.
Dostoevsky was the king of that heap of people who got paid per word, but that's exactly what happened, right? They at that time, at that place, they paid authors by the word, and now you have door stoppers, right? And some of them were good, but still. So, that actually happened, right? That's yeah. So, um, I think it's an interesting question. How do you quantify the edge? And in a lack of a better answer, I would say quantify how much effort it saved you.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So the equivalent of how much effort
And
it saved you.
a good example of that, and practically the
Yeah.
confirmation of it, is the in manufacturing process. When we're talking about overall digitalization and industry production automation, when you want to express the value, you're talking about the savings, implementing some specific automation or the solution, both hardware, software combined, and or similar. And that is something what can be fully put in parallel with overall the expertise service we are talking about here, as you mentioned.
Yeah. So in general, um the edge is, if you're an expert, if you're a swan, uh, the edge is the main thing that you should get charged, that you should be able to charge for. Um,
Yeah,
and I usually say, I think we talked about, applied effort and legacy effort,
yeah,
and legacy effort is what sharpened your edge. I think the proper English word for it is honed
yeah.
your edge, right? You've been honing your edge for 20 years, and so when you apply it, fine, you can roughly calculate how much effort it took, but multiply it by its sharpness, right? And that sharpness could not have materialized without effort being applied in the past on some other project,
Yeah.
going through experiences, as you mentioned, right? So you know that, yeah, this seems like a good idea, but it's not, because this will happen and that will happen, and then, yeah. Um, so the thing that seems to me particularly unfair
Mm-hmm.
is when people say, it only took you an hour, they get the benefit of like half less energy being needed, but they try to calculate it in a way that completely covers it. You're trying to pay an architect like you would a wood chopper, a woodsman. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's a category error. It's simply a category error, right? So how do you charge for your edge?
Based on the results.
Okay.
Based on the results, yeah, because generally for all my business verticals, and I have several of them, majority of our business income overall comes to us through that specific environment. Also, very important is that you need to be in the proper seat, meaning you need to have adequate control over the situation. Other way around, that wouldn't be working. So it's about risk balance. If we have some level or significant level of control, then we're leaning towards the results because we did it numerous times, so we can do it again. If you have less control over the situation, then you're leaning more towards the some fixed amount, definitely price premium by default, because again, you're being paid for the edge, previous experience, and everything what you can actually bring to the table. And that is the general outline. And I've applied that in all the verticals because it's doable, very doable. A little bit of creativity gives you momentum.
So you basically bypass the issue by focusing on the result. So you don't have to waste time calculating how much exactly your edge saves. You just say, this is going to be the result, and because I have a sharp axe, I can do it efficiently, and I can find significant profits in charging you, um, because I know the risks, I've been through them, and I know how much I need to cover those risks. And the
Yeah.
effort is immaterial.
Yeah, absolutely. We are never talking about how much time or effort is being poured in anything, in all the verticals, even those which are now, especially when you're talking about the agency side of the business, are
Uh huh.
being fully commoditized in the market. We don't have that issue simply due to our overall approach. And what is very significant component there is the adequate due diligence before the onboarding phase, because we've gathered through all these years significant amount of data. We know what are results, what we can expect. So predictability component is very, very relevant. And you need to definitely be very realistic and definitely partner up with people who understand and who are transparent enough. That is one very important prerequisite for long-term and successful collaboration. Because other way around, it's very hard to count on the relationship to be built and move on the long haul.
So, one more thing before we
Mm-hmm.
go. AI in the agency business is something that people talk about all the time. So I'm sure it can save you effort. Um, can it help you on edge? And because it can replace you on effort in some places. Can it replace you on edge?
No, it can help you, support you, and allow you to focus on high impact things. And that is what I am constantly not only advocating, but sharing with people, because a bunch of people, not only in the agency space, but
Mm-hmm.
in other expertise businesses, are being extremely afraid of the AI. Wow, I welcome it, because you can actually focus on meaningful things, not on moving the car, but actually building the solution that matters, and definitely utilizing all the resources which can generally speed up the process so you can reach faster the desired goal. And that is all about. So we're talking about big time and effort saving overall, like you mentioned previously.
Because this is I agree with you. People say, I'm not going to be able to charge as much for what I'm doing right now because it's obviously less effort. Yeah, that's true. It's obviously less effort. Although, if we're talking about SWAN pricing here, it doesn't matter how much effort it does,
Yeah.
right? Like we said previously, if I could snap my fingers and have my clients have everything that I promised with a deal, I would do it and I would still charge the full price, and the client would be thrilled. They don't need my sweat.
Yeah, exactly.
They don't want it, they don't need it, they don't care. And this is, like I said, a big fundamental difference between uh, duck-based pricing and commoditized services and swan-based pricing in expertise-based services.
Yeah.
I think we're done for today.
Yeah, I agree.
Where can people find you, man?
People can find me on LinkedIn and also my mentorship page, philipzalata.com.
So LinkedIn as well for me, and fearless-pricing.com. Thank you and see you next week.
See ya.